Welcome everyone to the fifth week of the Snowflake Smitty Snowy Sunday Spectacular Show. This week we have a crucial guest on the show, somebody who's been making waves throughout the entire community. This week we have Zeke the Bomb Wigatow. Zeke, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, Justin. It's good to be here.
I'm
On
glad
the
to
show.
finally have you on. You were somebody who I was really hoping to get on back in the earlier weeks when you were causing a lot of waves. I mean, I still see some waves coming out of you, but I'm glad that I could finally get you on so you could speak on some of the stuff that you've been saying and where you want to go with the campaign this year.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I like to think that all I do is kind of cause waves or, radiate radioactive waves is how I like to look at it. Um, yeah, no, it seems like my name's been being thrown around a lot out in the circles. People seem to be coming for me, knowing I'm kind of up and comer in the community. People like Coach and Lars seem to be a little bit concerned about their spots. I hear my name being thrown around, slander being put on it. So yeah, I'm here kind of to defend my name and defend the rookies out there. That's a big thing for me this year. So a lot of defense of what the spectacular is all about. Because even though I'm a terrorist, I think the spectacular is about love, and I'm here to defend that as well.
Yeah, I mean, touching on what you just said, you said this year is a year of defense for you and your campaign. No bomb threats this year. Nothing about the spectacular not happening, I guess, because you are a confirmed pick for this year. So the spectacular is safe yet again another year. Um, do you believe that maybe sometime in the future you could go back to threatening the spectacular to not happen anymore?
And that's a great question, and it's something that actually I was just thinking about this week. Um, but something I learned last year was, I think coming in as a newcomer, it was important to make a big statement. Bomb threats were kind of all I knew at that point. That's my culture. Coming in and learning a little bit about the spectacular community, the spectacular culture, the theme of togetherness, being all in it together, it made me, hesitate a little bit to want to threaten that community and their lives. Felt a little bad. So there's that consideration. I do have the locked pick, so obviously I'm going to be there. Now then the question is, should I threaten the spectacular, kind of force their hand about picking the date? And I've decided that I don't really need to take that approach. I'm going to trust the committee. Um, that being said, I'm not afraid to drop some bombs on people if they're coming after me, if things aren't going how they're supposed to. But it's something that's in the back pocket for now, and I'm hoping to really try to keep learning about the Christmas spirit and not really need to bring out the bomb in that situation.
I love that. I mean, I'm glad this year I could go to the spectacular, not worry about exploding, anything like that. Glad that you're going to
Well,
be.
I wouldn't get too safe feeling. Like I mean, I'm telling you, when I have a button on me at all times that can pretty much end the world, I'm not exaggerating. So I wouldn't get too secure there.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I just feel a little bit safer than last year knowing that you're a safe pick. Um, Pivoting on from this, me and you are playing each other this week in fantasy football. My team's name is Zeke Gets Zero Touches. I feel like you can almost translate that into how you've been running your campaign this year. I feel like nobody can touch you. Leif actually hired Rob, the merry mobster, to help defend against attacks and, I guess, bombs that you throw at him. How successful do you think the Merry Mobster would be in really defending Leif, defending his number one spot? Do you feel like Leif still is that number one contender that he was for all these years?
Yeah, no. So let's start talking about the Merry Mobster here for a quick sec. To start out, shout out to the Merry Mobster. Love to see him getting in on the action. Definitely a better specky when he's around. That being said, does the Merry Mobster scare me in the slightest? I mean, not at all. It's just like the wind, breeze on the shoulder. The coach, MVP, number one overall pick. If he can't even stop the movement that is Jingle Bombs, what is Mary Mobster gonna do? And I'm sorry, Mary Mobster. I love you, I respect you. Come give me a fight. But I mean, this man can barely. We'll see if he can even run his own campaign, much less try to slow down mine. So no concern there. When it comes to what I think about the coach and his status at the top, you know what? Honestly, I can't deny that he's at the top of the game. Like if there's somebody that's leading the sport, it's Coach Christmas,
Mhm.
and he has the track record, and there's no doubt about that. And this year, because of the way the rules are set up and the 3-year, slate, I admit that there's no realistic shot for me or anybody else to get the number one overall pick. That's pretty much Coach Christmas. Um, that being said, I think he might be slipping a little bit. He's putting on the McGregor act, and I say good on him. But let's look at McGregor. He was a big shot, a few years ago, top of the game. Where is he now? I mean, his leg is snapped in half. That's where
Okay.
he is.
Well, the
Coach
thing,
might be slipping like that. I haven't seen much of a campaign out of him. He kind of just shows up on other people's things. I haven't seen much originality out of him. What's he all about right now, other than saying I was the best? His bones might be getting a bit brittle. That snap could be coming.
that's fair. I mean, he really hasn't done too much of his own campaign. He released that video about enlisting the Merry Mobster onto his team, and he did his annual kickoff. But other than that, he hasn't done too much campaigning on his own. A lot of his campaign has actually come through mine, through S.S.S.S.S. And I know that that's something that a lot of people, yourself included, you feel like you're seeing too much Leif screen time. Um, do you think that like maybe me myself kind of pushed him more into that first overall spot just by getting him on so much?
No, yeah, I'm not gonna blame you. I mean, I don't think there's anything that Leif could have done this year other than not campaign that would knock him out to number one. He's so entrenched in it at the moment. I think that time might be coming to an end very soon. This year, I don't really see a path for it. That being said, I mean, who really wants to see Coach Christmas on every time? He's out here saying the same thing every time, strutting this stuff, not really adding anything new to the conversation. And he just thinks he can insert himself. And I'm not blaming you. Like he'll start out and it's clear he's buttoned in,
Yeah.
just getting in there. And I kind of hoped he would show up today, try to force his way into the Zoom somehow. And then I would have told him to get the fuck off and never even try that again, and could
Yeah.
try to put him in his place a little bit. But hey, if the coach feels like he needs to leech off other people because he can't come up with his own ideas, let him do it. I think people will see it what for what it is.
Damn. Yeah, some harsh words. Coach Christmas, I feel like last year he did feel a lot stronger than now. I do see what you're saying about him losing his grip, proverbially snapping his leg. But if Coach is the McGregor of the spectacular, do you feel like you yourself are the Khabib?
I mean, it's a fitting comparison, not just because of the name, obviously, you
Mm,
know, but definitely, I feel myself as somebody that when you go out there, you're the champ, and you're gonna be it, and I have the future in front of me. So you know what? If Coach is McGregor, Khabib, in real life, he would destroy McGregor.
yeah.
I feel
I
the same way.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, we touched on the date a little bit. How you said that that would be something that would elicit you bringing out the bomb, but probably not this year. I know that you've been getting a lot of pushback about the date for whatever reason, as if it's in anyone's hands but the committee's. A lot of people were arguing over whether it should be the first or second date. Again, it's the committee's decision. How do you feel about that whole subject? Do you feel like you were being wrongfully attacked and you were just defending your right to go to the spectacular and not? I do see what you mean by Leif saying that he was kind of cheering for the date in which you and Costa can't come. Um, I mean, I did see your point as more of a defensive point, but do you feel like Leif is almost pushing to get you and Costa out of the specky?
Yeah, no, so obviously the date topic is a big one for me. It affects me personally very much. And I've come to see the other side more and more as we've gone along. But basically how I view the whole date controversy was the date controversy became a thing solely because of Leif. In fact, over the summer, it was a big thing for Leif. Once he did the math in his head and realized me and Koss are both going to be at school, we
Mhm.
haven't been able to come in the past because of school. He's like, hold up. And all of a sudden, he's thrown out there before anybody could even say whether they could or not come. He's saying that we're not going to be able to make it. He's putting that idea out there. You know, he's already had a lot of influence in how it's been run in terms of getting the earlier start date in September. He's always out there whispering behind the scenes, not really behind the scenes if we're being frank about it. He's out there getting his opinions heard, and his voice is listened to. And there's no doubt in my mind that he knows that I, specifically me, um, and also Costa, pose a really big threat to his future at the top, and that this is my big problem with the date, and I'm going to put this out here now, is that if we set the precedent this year that it's going to be the earlier date, that could screw me and Costa. Now I'm not sure how long Costa's in school for, but I'm in school for 2 more years after this. So
Mhm.
that could potentially set a precedent that means that I'm just out for 3 years from the spectacular and nothing I can do about it, which would wipe my slate clean and essentially restart me, if not even worse.
Yeah.
And it could, I mean, obviously, I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to make it. I'm going to never quit my spectacular career, but it'd be a huge loss for me and possibly for Costa too, depending on how long he has in school. And I think coach knows that full well. And he might believe the things he's saying about tradition and the importance of majestic to the Specky. And I understand that point of view. Um, that being said, I think he certainly has his main motive in this being attacking me, attacking Liam, trying to secure his spot.
Yeah, I mean, you and Liam not going not only pushes up other people per se and rattles the entire field, but it almost does help him in a way where he has two less threats that he has to worry about in the future. So I guess I see why he's doing it. I mean, it's wrong. It really is because this is the year of
Recovery.
recovery.
There it is.
You'd think that he'd want to keep us all together. No, it's not the year of togetherness. I'm blanking. I took a nap. Either way, this is what success is all about. No cuts, no takes, nothing like that.
All natural, you know?
Yeah. So on Twitter, right after my episode with Rob released, I tweeted out something saying, "Hey, listen, guys, if you want to ask me or Zeke a question, we can have it answered live. I'm going to take the most liked questions." The only like on the post was from Zeke, and I had no comments. So that was going to be a big part of the show. I wanted to see what a lot of people wanted to ask Zeke because Zeke is he's a controversial figure in the spectacular, and I feel like a lot of people want to really hear their questions answered from him. So I guess I'm gonna have to take over again and start asking you some more questions. We talked about the slate earlier and the 3-year slate. This was a big topic for me last week. I don't know if you watched my episode with Rob.
Would
Uh,
never miss an episode of Success.
I love that. I mean, I've my viewers have been going up substantially, and I really want to thank.
Oh, most viewed in spectacular history, to be honest. You know,
I had 9 live viewers last week. I don't even know who those 9 people could have been. I know one.
it's unreal. Like I'm very impressed.
We're causing waves, and hopefully, this is our most liked and most viewed episode ever. So we were talking about the 3-year slate last week, and I made a point saying that it's almost better to come in as a rookie than to be a veteran with a poor slate. I know you focus a lot on the rookies. Me, myself, I went first overall 3 years ago. 2 years ago, I went third overall and had a bad showing. And then last year, I went fourth overall. So my slate is pretty suffering. I almost feel like if I came in as a rookie this year, I might even have a better chance. I guess disregarding the fact that I'm a veteran in this game. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like rookies have just as big of a opportunity to get into the game now as ever, or do you think it's a tough road ahead?
I mean, this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart as the reigning rookie of the year and somebody that's kind of taken the rookies under my protection this year. I mean, on one hand, you know, I do see what you're saying about if you have a slate that isn't necessarily the best, that might almost be worse than coming in with a clean slate. I'm a little still. I feel like everybody's still a little bit fuzzy on how exactly the slate is weighed
Mhm.
in the, in the selections because it seems like just having a slate is important. Like once you get to the 3 year slate, that seems like that in itself was a pretty big boost.
Yeah. I mean, not too many of us have a 3-year slate. I'd say it's probably roughly half of the amount of people who are running this
Yeah,
year.
no, it's really only it's you and Leif and Rob and Cal. Is that it? Does
Yeah,
Liam have one?
you also have to consider Liam. Ooh,
No, because he missed a year, right?
yeah, he missed a year. I think he's
So
been here
he
years with
doesn't
one
have
missing in between.
he's got 3 years, but one's missing.
You
So
have to.
yeah,
It's the same for Coach. Coach wasn't here 3 years ago.
but no, that was 4 years ago. That got off.
Never mind. So he's
Yeah. So I think it's just the four of you guys are the only ones with the 3 year slate at the moment.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, I wish I did come out and I campaigned more last year to get myself higher up and kind of fix my slate. Really, I didn't know that this was going to play so much of a factor this year. This is all. still kind of new to me, new to everyone who's in the game right now. Um, so you feel like not having a slate could almost hurt you in a way where people with a slate are considered higher.
I do think that it seems to be, at least the talk I've heard, is that just having and I think it's partly because of how strongly coach has been pushing the veterans the last couple of weeks. Once again, another response to something I did, an idea of mine, and it wasn't even his idea. He had to be contacted by people to push him to do it. So I just want to put that out there. But yeah, no. So it seems like just having the slate is something that people are trying to boost as a good thing. I'm not convinced. I think I think once you have a slate, people kind of know what you're about. If you haven't been able to do anything in the 3 years that you have your slate, like what makes you think things are going to be different in year four? A rookie, I mean, that's exciting stuff. This person's coming and you have no idea. Like they could come in and they could be like me. They could have an MVP level performance. Lars, they could be
Too.
like back to back years. We're coming off great rookies.
Yeah.
So to start with, the expectation is that. But if they come in and have a dud, I guess you technically have that possibility. But let me tell you, if a rookie campaigns well enough to get picked, I think you can be almost certain they're going to perform. And so I don't understand when I hear that concern from people. I don't think rookies are as unknown a commodity as people are saying. Yeah, you don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I think it's more they're going to be blowing your balls off rather than the other way around.
Yeah. And I believe slate is determined by the aggregate of your last three draft picks. So as in my case, I'd be 1, 3, and 4. I feel like the draft pick alone isn't enough to really determine somebody's slate. Do you believe that we should be accounting for performance grade added into that?
Oh,
And
no, I was under the assumption that performance grade was in the slate, but you might be right, I guess. I'm
yeah,
gonna trust.
I
Yeah,
think
no,
I
that's
think I'm
I'm
1,
shocked to hear
3, and
that.
4.
I assumed slate was draft pick and performance. I thought those were the two components.
I don't
But
believe so because I
I
believe
think
this is my 3-year slate.
okay. But people have been talking about like Joe having a bit of a slate because he went last year and got a performance grade even though he wasn't drafted.
Hmm.
I'm
Now,
not.
I guess I
That's
don't
what,
really know. I think we need King Kershaw or somebody from the committee to come out and explain the slate. I actually do have Franklin on the wheel to really come in, explain a lot of things that us people really don't know too much about. The wheel actually won't be spun this week because last week somebody, I'm not gonna say who, but it wasn't me, didn't put Costa on the wheel. We spun and it went to you. Would Costa have been picked? I don't know. But I don't play like that at 6S. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm taking them out on purpose or trying to move them around. So I am having Costa on next week. And then I guess we'll start the spinning from there again. But we're still looking to see some really exciting candidates like Mike, like Matt. We're waiting to see Franklin, which is going to be huge. We haven't seen anything from Cal yet. You excited to keep going in the
forget
future?
about Joe.
Yeah, and Joe is like everyone wants to see Joe on, and every week it gets so close to seeing Joe too. When you got on the wheel this week, I was ecstatic because I've been trying to get you since week 1. I was trying to funnel any kind of willpower I had through there to get you.
I saw I was getting pretty close.
Yeah, but
Just missing.
starting off with King Kirsch was big. I think that was a great kickoff for me.
No, no, people certainly, that was one of the ones where people were like, this was almost too perfect. Is it rigged?
Yeah. No, I know. And then the Leif no, the Lars one too, when I picked Leif third, that almost seemed rigged too. A lot of
Then,
things
no, yes.
that
No,
have,
there's certainly been moments where you're like, how rigged is success? You
yeah.
know, the people will never know, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like to do. I like to be the voice of the community here, or one of. So, voices of the community. You have the Bomb podcast. How is that doing for you?
No, so this is an idea that had been in the works for me for a while. The thunder kind of got stolen by you coming out with the podcast and Matt, and I love to
I've been
see
thinking
that.
about this
So
for 4 years.
no, and I believe it. Um, but it's now, this is something that for me is, I feel like it's kind of like a little bit of a duty for me. I was rookie of the year last year. A lot of great people took me under their wing, especially somebody like Coach Christmas, who I know last year we had a very different relationship. I mean, Coach was really my mentor, kind
Mhm.
of taught me the ropes. It was huge for me, and I felt like, especially with all the rookies as we continue to grow the rookie class, it's important to give them a voice, and it's twofold: give them a voice for themselves, a platform, I had Mistletoe Matt on last week, in what, my opinion was
Great show.
most entertaining 30 minutes of content that you're going to see from the spectacular. Like, he almost showed us his nude body.
Yeah,
You're not going to beat that.
I
Um,
screenshotted it actually.
I mean, how
I
could you
look at it
not?
a lot often.
And then the other part of it is, and we're gonna have Yuletide Yosef. Was supposed to be on this week, scheduling problems. He'll be on next week. Can't miss episode. Um,
Absolutely.
but we're gonna be getting into the other part of the program, which is kind of like a teaching component of, all right, here, rookies. This is like something about the specky that you should know. This is like a technique, advice, just getting deep. And I like it's fun for me because I have little, fun names, bomb rookies. We have the Jingle bombing where I'm gonna do campaign services for outstanding rookies, which should be really fun.
Mhm.
I like the 9 minutes and 11 seconds on 9/11. That reminds me of a glorious moment in my family's history.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's fun. It's a fun show, and
That's great. I love staying tuned on that. I love keeping up to date. I mean, that show really does have a lot of it has a good following too. It makes a lot of people really question the game, and it highlights people similar to like what I was trying to do with this show. If I could ever get a rookie on the show, it's doing kind of the same effect that I wanted to do. So I mean, hats off to you. It's great, or a turbans off, whatever you want to call it. um, so we normally around this time in the show we get into power rankings. I've done power rankings in different ways throughout the show. I've done it where you call out a name, you give them the ceiling and the floor, or I just, we list them traditionally 10 to all the way up to 1. Do you have any preference?
I'll let you pick. It's your success,
All
I
right.
trust you.
I think the people want to hear an in-depth review from you. I feel like you have a lot of a voice in this community. So, I'm going to start at number 10. As of right now, week 5 into the campaigning process, who do you see at number 10?
Now, so this is an easy one for me, and it hurts me to say it, but as everybody else has said, it's got to be Mike Johnson. Um, Great potential, tantalizing, really. Um, but he's just not in the game, and if you're not in the game, you can't get any higher than that. So it's just unfortunately where he is at the moment. Now, of course, if he chose to, he could shoot up the rankings.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, he's a minority.
no, I mean that's like that itself is at least a 3 or 4 spot jump.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that was a lot of his pick the year that he came and fell out of the car. That was huge.
no, and that moment, I wasn't there, but I've heard one of the great moments in spectacular history.
I'd love to see Mike there. I just wish he would start his campaign already at this point.
No, and it just doesn't seem like he's too interested. And it's because we all shouted him out on Twitter. I think I threatened to bomb him or something along the lines.
Yeah.
I might have to actually do it.
It's
So I'll
so
give him some time, but
it's so sad to see a campaign with so much promise die off so early, if that's really the case, if he is really resigning. But I think he should put out a resignation video, to be quite frank. I think the
uh,
people just want to hear from Mike.
now, I think him putting out a resignation video, he might go number one.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I think that would almost boost his chances. Like they'd almost come out to kidnap him in the night because that's what the people would want to see.
but I don't know. You can't do it at night.
Mike
You're
is
not,
like one of those kids who
not
like
gonna be able to see
literally
him.
could have been in the draft if he campaigned a little bit. Like he could have been somebody who's like, he's pushing at 4 and 5 right now, but I don't know.
Certainly.
Guess he's got other bigger things in the spectacular.
No, no, Justin, there's not a single thing bigger than the spectacular. I
No,
mean, we were talking right before the show how pretty much what else is there in life but the specky?
nothing.
It's at the
Nothing.
top.
This is my life now. Well, on that note, who do you see going number 9?
Now, this at the moment is actually another sadly easy pick for me. It's got to be Big Daddy Christmas. I mean, another person. He's got the slate and he shows up, so that automatically gets him ahead of Mike. That being said, I mean, he's thrown out a few tweets. I can't really call that a campaign.
But do you
So
understand what the tweets mean? Because a lot of people have been talking about that.
I have nothing for you. I don't know if there's something behind him, but I feel like Cal tends to do this. He might have done it a little bit last year. I until I see something that I can be is like this is a start to his campaign. I can't put him any higher.
No, I agree. I do want to know what these tweets are about, and I feel like somehow they tie it together.
Oh,
Uh,
I hope that it's some elaborate plan that it's just going way above us and he's gonna shock us. I would
yeah.
love nothing more, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, he'll never take his advice anyway, our advice anyway, because he's never actually watched Success. He's the only person in the committee who refuses to watch the show. In fact, when I got him for last week, and then he stole $30 from me, he admitted to me at the Miller's Ale House before he took my money that he's never even seen the show, so he doesn't even know what to do. So, hey, Cal. So now I guess we're getting really into the minutiae with number 8. I mean, these are people who are actively campaigning.
Yeah, no, this is where it gets interesting. I'm just going to do a quick run through in my head, make sure I have all the names here.
Yeah, you take your time. Whenever you're ready, we're all waiting to hear number 8.
I'm just going to name 8 names and make sure we get there. We got Coach, me, Laws, Liam, you, Joe, Matt, Rob. That's 8.
Yeah.
All right. So at 8 right now, this is gonna hurt to say, and people might give me some pushback on this, especially since the stance I've taken. Right now, it's got to be Joe, and that breaks my heart to say, as somebody that's pushing for the rookies and really pushing for Joe because I beat him out last year in a heartbreaker. I mean, it was as much as I love to get the call, like it hurt me because I knew that meant that Joe wasn't getting it.
It was a bittersweet moment for sure. I mean,
Um,
everybody wanted both of you there, and when we found out, and I guess the reality that it was always going to be that only one of you was going to be able to come, it was heartbreaking, no matter who it was picked.
Yeah, no, and great year last year, and yeah, he finally got active on the Twitter, and I expect to see him shooting up the rankings, especially once he gets on Bomb Rookies, hopefully next week. But right now, if we're just doing it right now, I can't put him any higher because he really hasn't campaigned yet, and I'm somebody that thinks that you really got to start campaigning to move up the rankings. So I think he's one like really campaign kickoff away from just shooting up the rankings. But that's where I have him right now.
But watching Joe from last year, this is what Joe is the best at. This is out of all positions that could negatively affect him. This is probably the best one for him to be at, where he has a lot of people watching, but he doesn't have a spectacular kickoff yet. Because Joe is somebody who doesn't put out routine content. He's been known as the guy who puts his head down for an entire day and comes out with a 6-minute video, and it's ridiculous in quality.
Oh no, he puts
I,
out the best quality videos of the spectacular. Not even close.
the video that he put out last year against you with the rocket, and he was on AutoCAD making the rocket. I mean, that video is in Hall of Fame for videos, and it
Oh,
honestly wasn't even regarded that high at the time. But I feel like looking back on it, and especially because of the tweet that I sent out this week, a lot of people are kind of revisiting it and seeing that like this kid has firepower. Number 8 for Joe, while he has people watching him and he has his campaign roughly started on Twitter, is not a bad launch point for him.
no,
Emphasis.
and 100%. And he laid out in his first tweet, he laid out like what I thought was just an amazing campaign. It's going to be some big hitters, going to be perfectly done videos, and I expect to see him shooting up the rankings. And I'm talking like I could see him, you know, I'm at the point where I'd still expect him to be picked when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Me too. He's
so,
somebody who
yeah.
I almost can't imagine either not being picked or not having almost the same exact spot.
Yeah, I certainly don't see him any closer than the. It would be so heartbreaking to see him finish sixth again. I can't see that.
No, I agree. Um, so going from Joe, watch the success, get up there in the rankings, put out one of those videos, bro. We want to see you.
Yeah, this is motivation for you, Joe. Can't wait to get you on Bomb
I've been
Rookies.
hyping the kid up since the first week. I've been waiting for that explosion.
Let's build up. Oh, I love explosions, and
I know, I know.
this is primed. Just gotta press that button, the big red button.
I say,
Give it a push.
I say not to throw ideas out at him, but I say that he takes out the rocket that he made last year, and he improves on it. Either that, or he comes out with something for another person that he believes that he's competing with.
Yeah, Lyman. Let's take it a
Oh,
little bit easy. We don't need too many rockets. That could be a little bit risky for my operation.
no,
But
exactly. The Biden administration just donated a lot of money to the well, not the administration, but I guess the U.S. government gave money to the Iron Curtain.
did they really?
Yeah, not the Iron Curtain. What
I,
am
I was gonna say I thought the Iron
what's
Curtain
the
was gone.
what's the Israeli iron? No.
So they gave money to Israel, is what you're saying to me.
Yeah, but that
We
end
don't like we don't like Israel. I'm telling you, don't like them. No, not a fan. That's
Iron Dome, Iron Dome.
there it is.
I knew it was something iron, unfortunately.
Well, that's a shame for the administration because whatever they're given, it's just going to get bombed away by my brothers. I apologize.
Yeah, I was wondering how you felt about that. Uh,
Not too great. In fact, I'm pressing the button right now. There's a village in Iraq. It's gone. I'm sorry.
well, it's unfortunate, but all in the name of Christmas and Christmas joy.
Exactly. No, it's actually the bomb is red and green when it explodes for Christmas.
So are you a Muslim terrorist? Are you like more of like a Christian like crusading terrorist? Like what kind of terrorist?
I'm a proud Muslim out here. You know, that's what we go for, and that's why the Christmas is such a new thing to me, but it's so interesting to learn about, and it's really impressed me.
Yeah.
Trust me, I am not a fan of Christians, no, but they do a good thing with Christmas. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, myself included, were really happy to see you experience your first Christmas. Like your eyes were wide and you really did enjoy the event. And so we're all hoping that this year goes as smoothly. You're already in, so I mean, we'll see you there. Hopefully, I will too.
Yep.
Um, let's get back to the topic. Number 7. What
Number
do you do at
seven.
number 7?
Yeah, no. So this is from 8 on, it's all tight. But 7 at the moment, I'm going with the Merry Mobster. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, he probably would have been in that 8 spot last week, but with his appearance on Success and getting a little bit of a campaign going on top of what actually is a pretty decent slate, um, I think 7 is a good spot for him at the moment, and he's somebody that I could see actually sneaking back into the top 5. His slate is better than people say,
Yeah.
nothing special, and that's why in my mind the rookie is almost a more intriguing prospect. But with his reboot, that's also exciting. He's got now one of the greatest characters in the spectacular.
Yeah.
Like the first few minutes of the show with you, like that was one of the best few minutes of Specky content. Just how much he was buying into the Mary Mobster character, and it was pure gold to see that. So he's at 7, but he's on the up and up for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the kid came out last week with an amazing video, amazing showing on 6S, not video of his own. But that might be his problem is that he does need videos and content of his own. 2 years ago, you come out and you have that kind of performance on a podcast, and you're already, you're looking at 2 and 3. But it doesn't work that way anymore. We have a lot of really, really strong contestants this year. I really like the stickball Jimmy. I really like the entire accent that he was throwing out there. I liked a lot of the stuff he was saying. He seemed to have like a really level head. I know he wants to redo his rankings. I don't know when that's going to come out, but that might be an allusion to part 2. It's like last year Rob came out pretty strong and then he fell apart when he didn't release his own content afterwards. I wonder if it's going to be the same thing this year.
That's what holds me back with Rob is I've yet to see the full season out of him.
Yeah.
He's clearly got what it takes, but and we'll see if he can put it all together.
Yeah. All right. So now number 6, the heartbreak spot.
Now, and this is gonna be the hot take of the show for sure. Coming right here. People aren't gonna see this one. I'm gonna get a lot of pushback, but I gotta go Polar Bear Larsie at number 6.
Ooh, jeez. So now
Yeah.
we talked about this on FaceTime when I first had your spot land on the wheel, and you were talking about how you feel like Polar Bear Lars is a little bit overrated at the moment. Do you want to elaborate further?
Yeah, no. So in fact, in my opinion, he's currently the most overrated player in the spectacular community. And nothing against Larsie, you know, absolutely great member of the community, fully deserving of a pick beyond a doubt. That being said, people, I mean, are giving him a lot of hype coming off Rookie of the Year, followed by a number 2 overall selection. But what I want to do is take a little bit of a deeper dive into Lars. He had the great show on Rookie of the Year, no doubt about that. And then he follows it up with one of the greatest specking moments of all time in the Ryan Hollins video.
Oh, yeah.
And just absolutely just everything about that was so incredible and absolutely blow your balls off type of moment. That being said, what has he done since then? And that's where it starts to get a little bit questionable. Didn't really do much of a campaign after that. Granted, great moment, didn't really need one. Still didn't do one. Got the number 2 pick anyway. Came to the spectacular and had a B performance. Average, middle of the pack. me, you, Coach, Liam were all ahead of him. So he actually was fifth of the 5 draftees. He was last in terms of performance at the spectacular.
Hmm.
And this year, I love what he's doing with My Specky. That's great. But as people have talked about, he's not really associating it with his campaign too much. And he hasn't really done too much else. He has not disappeared from the Twitter, but there's been no real moment defining his campaign so far. And my take is essentially since the Ryan Hollins video, he hasn't really done anything. And he's kind of just been meh. And in the field as hotly contested as it is, I don't think that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, you do make fair points. That's definitely a fair argument. He had a strong showing on my show too. I think he's another one of those contestants. But I understand that was my point that I brought up. I don't know if it was last week or the week before that. Lars is somebody who's not really tying his campaign to his own character, to his own, to his own voice, quite literally. I think everybody would like to hear a lot more out of Lars. I feel like Lars could always be cooking another like WTF moment like he did
Oh,
last
it's certainly
year.
possible. Like
It's definitely
he could
possible.
easily go up.
But he has been very quiet. I can understand how he's slipping in a lot of people's minds. I feel like that number 2 spot where everybody's saying like, "Oh, number 1's got to be Coach, number 2's got to be Lars." I feel like it might just be hearsay. It's just, everybody's kind of just regurgitating the same stuff. I believe I was the first podcast of this year, like the first episode of this year. So I feel like
Sure.
the rankings that were said in my first week kind of carried into my second week and into my third week. And with the amount of viewership that we're getting, it might be skewing a lot of people's opinions. So, I mean, that's the reason why I asked for people's power rankings is because I feel like individually people have different opinions and it can kind of shift the way that people, next week on week 6 with Liam, how they're going to feel. So I like that. I like to see people having different opinions on where people go, especially when it's as hot of a take as that. That's going to get some clipping, I feel like. Number 5. Somebody
Yeah.
you
So
think is in the lottery but just holding on right now.
I'm gonna put Candy Cane Costa at number 5.
Okay.
I think he sneaks in there. Which is kind of what he does. He's possibly the most consistent player in the spectacular community. If there's somebody you look at and you're like, that this guy is going to be reliable. He's going to be there. He's going to be upstanding. He's going to embody spectacular. That's Liam Costa. I mean, he's active on Twitter. He's got his quote of the week. He's got his logo. He's got his persona down. He knows who he is and what he's doing. And he's at this point. I think we were talking about this earlier, but the slate. He's got 3 years he's been in. It's a little bit unclear, how that second year counts because he missed for school, no fault of his own.
Mhm.
But always
It's always
performed.
your fault. It's always if you can't come, it's always your fault.
No, then that's fair. But I'm just trying to throw into people's heads that there's sometimes good justifications for it.
Yeah.
But and he's always been a solid performer. I mean, he was shirtless last year, and
I know. Well, I actually wanted to touch on that. When you had Matt on your show last week and he took off his clothes, do you think he was kind of sending a message to Liam saying like, "Hey, I could do this too"?
now that could be a question because I think there's little doubts they're the 2 sexiest men in the spectacular community.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
That would be something I would love if they both show up completely new to the spectacular and we just have a contest. Who's the
Yeah,
hottest?
you have to think like, how does Costa follow up? I mean, every year he's been losing more and more clothing. How does he arrive at this year's spectacular?
Now I have to assume he's losing something, and I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Can't wait to see it. He's got to be freezing this year.
not when
Now,
Costa's around though.
what did you say?
Not when Costa's there, nice and hot.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, everyone else is himself. I don't know.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
So now we're getting into like the grit and grime of the rankings here. Um, Throughout pretty much all of success history, these top 4 have been pretty stagnant. It's just kind of been a movement of these 4 people all around. But now when you put Lars down at number 6, I'm interested to see who you see in your top 4. I'm gonna go off and assume you're there because you're a name that hasn't been said yet. Who do you see at number 4 right now?
So 4, I'm gonna go with the guy that, in my opinion's been running the best campaign of the spectacular, and that is Mistletoe Matt.
Yeah,
I I I think he has the best campaign going. Oh man, a lot of dust out here in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean his campaign. Let me tell you, he has found himself a unique voice. That Merry Monday, it is simple, but at the same time, it's so different than anything
It is
anybody else
so
is doing.
great. That show is so underrated.
No, it really is. It's just 10 minutes and it's simple, but it really cuts to like the heart of the spectacular. And he's only a rookie, and it's just so impressive to see that out of him. And then
And
he had
he
the
pretty much says nothing
amazing,
about the spectacular the whole show.
yeah, no, it's
And he does the live at the most egregious time in the day. It's like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I watch it at work.
no, and how could you not miss it? I mean, it works out perfect for me because I actually don't have class then. So I eat my lunch with him and it's great.
Yeah.
And so that's just an incredibly original idea and performance. Great showing on my podcast. He's been as active as anybody on the Twitter. And if there's somebody I look at and and say they have the spirit of the spectacular, this year it's Mistletoe Matt.
Yeah.
So I know he doesn't have the track record, but I don't think he needs it. I think he's got the best campaign. He comes in at number 4 for me.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I feel like Matt might be the trailblazer for like the new way that we campaign. I mean, we come out here and like really what is success but saying the same things pretty much every week, but just altering them slightly according to news. I mean, Matt's somebody who's going out there, he'll give you a lesson about the heart or the human body. Next thing you know, he's reading a Bible verse. Next thing you know, he's pulling something out of the oven. I mean, you never know what to expect on that show. And I feel like almost his aversion to talking about specky content for that entire show is almost helping him up. It's like almost a refreshing thing to see is somebody not talking about power rankings or who do you think's going here, So I love the campaign. I haven't seen anybody put him for yet, but I won't disagree with you. I think he's somebody who should be in the top 5 by now, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, no, 100%. Exciting stuff coming from a great future.
So now we got to get into number 3, and this is where it's going to get dicey because I believe me, you, and Leif have been the only people who haven't been named yet. And I know you see
Yeah.
Leif number 1.
Life number 1, that's easy. We don't need to talk about him any more than we need to.
Yeah.
All right, so this is I mean, I've been thinking about it, me or you, for 2 or 3. I think it's a toss up. I'm gonna put myself at 3.
Okay.
Um, and here's the reason. I think, you have the 3-year slate, and yeah, you have the bad year in the middle, but 2 really solid years around it. I love what you're doing with Success. It's, absolutely great. It's certainly the most popular podcast out there, beyond a doubt.
Well, I'm the
And
Joe Rogan.
no, I mean,
I'm the David Packman. I'm the Sean Evans of the speak.
any name you want to throw out there, that's you.
Absolutely.
I would love to say you're the Hey Babe of the spectacular.
I might
Um,
be the Howard Stern of the spectacular some weeks.
no, you might be. Um, so I'm loving what you're doing from your campaign, and you have this slate advantage on me. And so I'll put myself at 3. I think, talking about myself, I think I have, this, like, essentially, and you also were right in the running for MVP last year. I think we had the 3-way tie before the Electoral College, or it might have been you were third, and then I don't remember exactly. But
I could be incorrect in saying that I feel like you got Rookie of the Year, and then we also did MVP, and it was a tie between me and Leif.
no, me and Leif were tied, and I think it was a 3-way tie. I think we each had 2 votes. I'm
You're
pretty
right.
sure.
You're right. I do remember that. Okay.
Um, so I think that's why me and you are essentially a toss up. And I'll give you the edge because of the slate. Um, but yeah, no, I could see. I think number 2 is a pretty wide open race at the moment, and it
Totally
could
fair.
go. It could
Pretty
go.
much interchangeable. I can agree with you there. As long as I see myself at the end of the day, I'd love to go first, second, third, but I just want to see myself get picked. I mean, you don't really see me out here campaigning for myself as much as I campaign for this show. This show has almost become my campaign in a certain way. And I just want to I don't know, I just want to be drafted. Whether or
I
not
can't imagine a
whether I go
scenario
fifth,
that you
whether I
want.
go third, I just want to be there.
Yeah, no. If you keep the show up, I can't imagine a scenario where you're not drafted.
Yeah.
I think the 2 people, and I think this was apparent in my rankings. I obviously have the lock. I don't think that matters. I mean, I think I'm running along with you and Matt the elite campaigns of the season, coming off an MVP level performance.
I can agree.
But so that means I think the 2 people that are vulnerable to getting kicked out are Liam and Lars. They're both a little bit more middle of the pack performance and have yet to really show a lot of spice in the campaign. So I think that they're the 2 that are vulnerable at the moment. Me, you, and Leif, I think, are pretty much locks. Well,
I,
me definitely.
I
And
wonder how that. Well, yeah, you are a lock. But I wonder how that Lars message is going to resonate going
I hope
forward.
it motivates him, to be frank, you
No,
know?
I know. I hope it motivates him as well. But I mean, I don't want to give myself credit by saying that people listen to the show and form their opinions around. But I have to be honest with you. I've talked to a lot of people after watching one of my shows, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. Like this person's going in that place." And I feel like by even throwing the idea out there that Lars isn't a 2 or a 3 spot right now might change and influence people in the future. Kind of give him like a push, like, "Hey, buddy, you got to do something." But I mean, I love what he's doing with my Specky. I just love to see more screen time. This is Polar Bear Lars kind of content. Either way, I mean, we're all excited. This is going to be a great year this year. In a way, unfortunately, I feel like there's going to be even more heartbreak than last year because now we got so many people that we want to see going that we almost don't have the spots for.
No, it's that's what's getting so tough. And I know this has been a topic we've talked about in success is the do we need to increase it? And I'm really intrigued by coach's idea of almost the college experience where you maybe get those 2 spots that are pay your way, but you can get it on your slate and get, drafted in a sense for rookies to get their name in, get some experience or other people that just missed, kind of give them a chance to go out there and prove that they belong in that top 5. And that also mitigates, obviously being a draft pick is a great prestige, but it helps lessen the blow of not getting it.
Yeah.
The fact you can really feel like you're part of something, even though technically you obviously didn't make the draft. So I think that's a super, super interesting idea, and I'd love to see that get developed a bit more and maybe see what the committee thinks about it.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. At a certain point, I was trying to campaign for getting the draft to be extended, but upon touching on it further, I feel like that idea might be better. You don't you get a 0 for your draft because you didn't technically get drafted. But at the same time, when you go to actually enter the draft for the first time, you're going to be way more considered than like than Matt was 5 weeks ago, or than you were last year, or Lars was 2 years ago. I feel like you could be somebody who could come out of college and be pretty much at like a 2 or 3 spot. And I know that the Spectacular is very anti-college. I think on that list of the top 5 people that you picked, I think maybe what? No, because you got Matt too. You got 3 college educated people. I think it's just consistently me
Believe it or not, it's actually you're the only one that wasn't.
and Leif.
Oh, coach, you're right. No,
Yeah.
100%. I forgot about that. Yeah, so you're right. 3 out of 5. There you
Yeah.
go. You don't need college to do math. There it is.
Yeah, unfortunately. So we're reaching the end here. Is there anything you want to say? Maybe wrap it up?
Yeah, no, it was just a pleasure being on, and I know I definitely made some hot takes. I want to say I believed every word I said out here, and well, there's a FaceTime from the king. That's a little bit inconvenient. We're gonna decline the king. There
You
we go.
can answer it and put him on the show.
Oh, I can do that,
Yes, you can. That's the reason why Leif has been on so many times because I give them.
and we're gonna get the king on the show here. Why not? A little wrap up. Danny, you're live on 6S. Say hello to everybody.
How's everybody doing?
How's it going?
Success, huh? That's fantastic. I feel like Coach Crashing is coaching this one too.
Now let me tell you. Do you see me on this on the show? Do you think Coach is gonna be anywhere near? I would never let that happen. Let me tell you.
God bless. How you guys doing? What are you talking about right now?
We're actually just wrapping up, so this is perfect timing for you.
Are we spinning the wheel?
No, actually, the wheel is not being spun this week. If you saw last week, we had a little bit of a problem where Costa, for some reason, wasn't put on the wheel from Joe, and I picked him 7th because this is success. I'm not trying to rig anybody or take their spot away, and I mean he's somebody who was in the last 4 people to go anyway, so we'll see him on there. And then after that, we got I think 4 more people, including Franklin, who I know that we're all excited for.
That's going to be a hell of an episode. We'll wait to see that.
We were just talking about how there's a lot that we want Franklin to unpack for us, regarding how the stats are really determined and how we can boost our stats in the future years.
Yeah, I think it'll be honestly an amazing opportunity to finally get to speak to someone with close enough context to really answer any question you could ever have. So
yeah, and he speaks English too, which is big.
A variation of it for sure. I don't know. It seems like a English to me, if you're asking me. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, every time I get the opportunity to speak to Zeke, I'm almost surprised that he speaks English. So just that fact alone, it's huge for me.
No, people are, and that's the key. You gotta blend in. You gotta. The terrorist is all about the
You
terrorists.
learned English for the spectacular, did you not?
No, if that was, it took years of. You think, why do you think I took so long to get to the spectacular? I had to learn just to be able to fake my way. You know.
And listen, I love seeing people pull themselves up by the bootstraps. All right, King Kirsch, Zeke, anything final?
Um, Drop a bomb. That's what the hot takes are for. I want people to drop bombs. Everybody get going. Everybody start firing. Everybody show you belong, and let's show some Christmas spirit, and let's bomb some people, and let's bomb everything. You know, have a bomb specky. That's all I'm here for. This is a bomb show, by the way.
Thank you. This is going to be a bomb specky indeed, and thank you for your compliment about the show. Definitely. I say this to a lot of contestants, but I think you're the front running one right now. Definitely excited to see you on for the second round of 6S after we clear out all of the people who are supposed to be on the show. I believe we have one less spot than originally intended because we did add Franklin to the wheel. But we're looking at, I think, 4 repeat episodes, and that's right down in the heat of everything. That's probably when draft picks are going to be out. So it's going to be really interesting to hear a couple people's takes, once the draft picks are even out already, once people have secured spots, how they feel looking down on the game. So
No, it would be. I'd love to be. Oh, there she is.
this is the first time on 6S an animal has been featured, everyone.
here we go.
Get it on, man.
Guys and gals this year, like Zeke said, 15 guys and gals. Let's get it going. It's the most tight race we've ever seen.
I almost can't believe there's 15. I might have to adjust my power rankings next week.
The veterans this year, big years came off. We're gonna have a fight to the death in the end, and I'm excited.
There's nothing you want to hear more from the member of the Varrier family. Unfortunately, fighting's in the blood.
Thanks for the guest appearance.
Yeah, of course. You have a good one.
Too.
I feel like it's only right to end the show on that note. But Zeke, been great having you on. I understand that I wish that you were here with me or we were doing this in person, but I understand that there's a travel ban in your country. Getting here is not the easiest, and I know you got a lot of. I heard you're going down to the airport soon.
Yeah, no, we're trying to make a visit, do some scouting now, maybe in a couple weeks. Might be stopping by.
Okay.
Maybe I'll tell a coach and show up unannounced. You never know.
Hopefully you get granted asylum here in time for the Specky. So I'm really excited to hear that. Good luck in Kabul. Good luck with all your future campaigns, your bomb campaigns, as well as your real campaign for the spectacular. And I can't wait to celebrate your second Christmas with you.
It would be an honor.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.